Holy shit, folks. It's been 10,000 years, but Megazord Radio is finally free. And it's time to conquer Apple Podcasts and Spotify and other places where you may find such podcasts. I am your host, Riely, of course, the familiar one. And unfortunately, Crow Royalty has flown away. He has left the nest. We wish Crow Royalty well. There's no ill will. We're cool. It was touch and go for a minute, but we're cool. But they're not going to do the podcast anymore, which is fine. They'll probably be a guest a time or two, if I had to imagine. And they are fully welcome to do so. But they are very busy now. They've got a girlfriend and like a job and a life. And in case you hadn't noticed, we did not record an episode for the entire calendar year of 2024. The last episode of Megazord Radio was in 2023. So I'm a little sick of waiting, frankly. And I want this show to come back. I want to do the later seasons, which to do that, we have to do the like year and a half of work necessary to get through Mighty Morphin. So we got to get fucking back on track, okay? And joining me today, the new co-host of Megazord Radio. He's great. You know him, you love him, maybe. Not he has been on this show before, but you might know him and love him if you've seen other things I do. He is the British man, the beans on toasty in himself. Nightster.
Hey everybody!
I almost called you a beans on toast American, but I guess
A
that
beans
would be
on
like a
toast?
British immigrant would be a beans on toast American.
That would be. Oh my god, that was an intro. Wow.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm so glad to be back. And I'm so glad to be joined for the first time by my good friend Nightster.
Thank you. It's very good to be here. This is very exciting.
Very exciting. So we got a little bit into, of course, we made I think 14 episodes or whatever the fuck already of this podcast, and that spans about roughly 30 episodes of Power Rangers. So Nightster had a little bit of catching up to do, and unlike me, and I think unlike Crow Royalty, although maybe they hadn't seen all of it, you had seen very little of season 1 going into this, correct?
That is correct. I have seen a few episodes here and there of Mighty Morphin in general, because the Zordon era I didn't really grow up on, and I never really found the time to actually go back and watch it. So this was the first for me. And I've enjoyed the episodes that I've seen so far, so it's fun.
Good. Yeah, I was about to ask. So just to get into sort of a general conversation, what is your general temperature on season 1 so far? How do you feel about it? Because to me, of course, um, it is nostalgia for me, even though I'm obviously not in the age bracket to have seen the Zordon era when it aired. I had a lot of VHS tapes that were passed down from my older sister, who's like 12 years older than me. And she had a good few Mighty Morphin Power Rangers tapes and like a Zeo tape and an In Space tape. So I watched the same 6 episodes of the Zordon era about 100 times as a kid. And then they aired reruns on Jetix really late at night, and I would watch those.
Oh man, that channel.
Man, I miss Jetix so bad.
So do I. I thought it was a UK thing, but no.
So yeah, despite being a 2000s baby, I still grew up on the Zordon era. So there is a nostalgia bias, much as a lot of people who talk about Mighty Morphin. But I do truly think there is something special about Mighty Morphin, especially season 1, as compared to what comes later. How are you feeling about season 1? Is there any sort of special feeling to you, or is it just an okay season of Power Rangers? What's your temperature on it?
Well, a lot of the seasons that I've seen try to keep it more modern, but because it's a lot older back in the My Morphin era, it was very goofy, but in a fun way, and it was just it was a joy to watch through. Like, yeah, there were some cringy moments, but overall, it was just a good time.
Yeah, and that's definitely what Mighty Morphin Season 1 is at its core. Because like it's very it's like a period piece almost, because it's very 90s. Like it's so 90s that it hurts. And in the 90s, this kind of like goofy, like cringe type of vibe was all the rage. Like this show it's Saved by the Bell. It's Saved by the Bell if they were superheroes also. Like like it's a goofy teen sitcom from the 90s, but also they fight monsters in footage that they stole from a Japanese show. and
But
it's
what the
and
right
it's a
song.
unique vibe that I really enjoy.
Yeah. There are some issues that I've had with certain aspects of it, but we'll cross those bridges when we come to them.
Well, I mean, we're talking about your opinions now, so what are some things you took issue with? I'm curious.
Mostly, I know it was out of university. It was the fact that the kids wouldn't understand what was going on, and there had to be someone there to explain it. But how much Zordon knew throughout the series struck me as a little strange. Like he shouldn't have known some of the things that he did.
He knows everything, and usually way before the Rangers. Now, here's what you're gonna learn about Zordon, okay? The unfortunate thing is, I also am a religious listener of a Power Rangers watch along podcast. They inspired me to do this, but because I'm so into it, I'm probably gonna steal a lot of their bits because I agree with them on a lot of things. And one of the things they talk about all the time that I definitely started to notice on my recent watch throughs where I was listening along, is that Zordon is kind of like a jerk a little. Cause sometimes he be knowing things and he not be telling the Power Rangers until way after he should be telling the Power Rangers.
Like, um, I definitely agree with that, and I have an example that
Like
delves in
the fact that the Green Ranger powers exist
exactly.
should have been something the
That's
Power Rangers knew immediately.
literally what I was gonna say. Was here's what I took issue with. Apart from the fact that he knew that undergreen powers existed and didn't tell them, was that's bad enough. But here's the thing: when the Green Ranger entered the command center, Zordon didn't address him as Green Ranger. He addressed him as Tommy. How the hell do you know who Tommy is, and how do you know him, Ranger?
Because he knows all, you see.
Like how? Uh,
Well, he might have, maybe he was just watching on the viewing globe. He knew those putties were there. Didn't have time to call the Rangers because it happened so fast. They're like,
oh,
oh.
you know that if even if Tommy didn't destroy the command center and get rid of Zordon, even though the whole point of him doing that was so Zordon wouldn't tell,
Zordon still wouldn't have told them it was
he
Tommy.
still wouldn't have. Like he would have said some crap like, "Oh, you need to like learn a lesson through discovery or some crap like that."
Zordon is one of those things, right? Where it's like, okay, here's the thing about this type of podcast, right? We're putting a very critical lens on a show that was invented for 5-year-olds to watch. And sometimes there are elements where it is very much geared towards those 5-year-olds. And if you put a magnifying glass on it, it's going to be very glaring. So you kind of have to pick your battles with Power Rangers, I've found. And for me, it's like the way Zordon is written is done for plot convenience. And if you put a magnifying glass on it, it makes Zordon look like kind of an asshole, but it's not played that way at all. And I still feel like some of the more genuine emotional moments with Zordon. So I choose to continue to view Zordon as their tube dad. Like I choose not to look at him as a jerk. Like I don't put a magnifying glass on that aspect of the writing, but it is there.
It's very much there, but
I think the movie is really what helps Zordon. for being the fact that Kim literally says you're like a father to us all probably helps the perception of me thinking that he's a father to them all. Uh, but I do like to view it that way. But again, if you look too deep into that writing for 5-year-olds, he does look like a bit of a dick.
Hey, you're like a father to us. You know, you kidnapped us, gave us powers, and said, "Hey, fight evil monsters and risk your life." And one of the characters did actually die in battle during a movie way later on. But hey,
Well, that wasn't one of Zordon's Rangers.
yes, it was.
Are you not talking about Kendricks? Are you talking about somebody else?
I'm talking about a character whose actress passed, and then they had her character pass in a movie.
Oh, yeah, I guess. But Zordon had already been dead for 20 years at that point.
But still, he's the one that gave Trini the power, and he's responsible.
If Zordon was alive, he'd be like, "Why the fuck are you still Power Rangers? I told you all to go live your lives." We did like a whole thing about this.
Well, yeah, maybe it's because Rita came back. Well, I guess that one was because Billy was trying to bring back Zordon, and then he brought back
Yeah,
Rita. And
Billy brought Rita back because he was trying to bring back Zordon, and he was still an active Power Ranger because they got their powers back in Legendary Battle, and then they were just like, "Fuck it, we'll go Power Range again. We're all having our midlife crises. Let's go be superheroes again."
I mean, to be fair, if I had the option, I'd go superheroing as well.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
do it.
fair.
Okay.
So
Right.
what
So
else? What else is there? I've got a couple bits, but I wanna make sure we get all of our general thoughts out.
okay. So I know we're doing like an episode by episode thing, so I don't want to talk about something that was only in one episode. If we're gonna delve into that episode during the conversation, but I'm trying to
What,
think.
this is like a future episode?
I know because this is the catch up, isn't it?
Oh, you think we're gonna actually go episode by episode in the catch up? I meant to like just talk generally about what we've watched so far, but we could do that if you wanted. We could lightning round.
That's what I thought this was.
Okay,
And
well you had a different vision for this than me, but I'll do that. That'll get us talking. So sure.
okay, right. Well, episode 1, Day of the Dumpster.
Day of the
Uh,
Dumpster. Well, no, because going episode by episode is gonna be okay. Here's the thing. Instead of going in episode order, here's what I suggest. We'll kill
okay,
two birds with one stone. We'll go from the bottom of the top to the top of the ranking list that we're thinking about rearranging. And then we'll cover those episodes as we go and we'll decide if they're ranked correctly or not.
okay.
Okay.
Right. I'm
It's
gonna
gonna be it's gonna be a little weird and bumpy, folks, but we're gonna do it.
I'm
We're gonna
gonna
have
make it.
conversations about Power Rangers. That's what you're here for. Who cares how clunkily formatted they are?
I'm gonna make a document so I can copy down the ranking.
Okay. And this is only relevant for one episode so far, and you know where it is. But just for reference, multi-parters are ranked together.
Yeah, and we know exactly where that goes.
Yeah. So there's 23 episodes ranked so far. So at the bottom, episode 23 is teamwork. Not episode. Did I say episode 23? I meant number 23.
Episode 23. Yeah. Episode ranking place at 23 is teamwork, which I actually need to remember what happened in that episode.
That was the power weapons got introduced Minotaur episode.
Oh yeah, well, literally the only thing that happened was um, what Zach and Jason uh had some. No, it wasn't that. That was Tommy and Jason later on. Uh
Yeah, that's Gung
oh,
Ho, is what you're thinking of.
oh no, this one was um, Trini and Kim were doing the recycling thing,
Yep.
and they had to work together to clean up stuff. And Zordon took that as a chance to say, "Hey, you should use teamwork on the field of battle. Here are some weapons that you can
Here's some
combine."
weapons. And like the weapons are cool, but like the teen plot is not that engaging, and like Minotaur is a nothing monster who's only memorable because he's the first guy to get killed by the power blaster. It's not a very eventful episode, which is why it's at the bottom, but I think that's the right place for it.
It's also like, why are you choosing now to give the weapons to the team? I mean, yeah,
Yeah, like again, why was that? Why like they were getting kind of beat up by Goldar for a bit there. Why not then? In Day of the Dumpster.
also, if you're trying to teach them a lesson about, hey, learn to work together, they were working together.
They
They
work
were
together all the time.
literally, the
They're
episode.
great at working together. This is the old. There's there are a lot of Power Ranger seasons where the Power Rangers come from like different worlds and they have to learn to work together. In this season, they're all already friends.
And this episode is literally based on the concept of two of them working perfectly in sync.
Well,
So
to
you
be
have a
fair, I guess they're kind of demonizing the guys for not being a part of it, but they all had legitimate
yeah.
excuses. Like I thought that Zach was lying because he sounded very like awkward when he was saying that he had to go see Alpha. So I thought that it was gonna be Zach is lying, Zach gets in trouble, he has to learn about teamwork. But that's not what it was. They all had prior engagements.
Yeah, and Jason actually sounds like he wanted to help, but he couldn't because he had obligations to his class.
Yeah, they all had obligations. Billy had a science, Jason had a karate, and Zach had a dance. Okay, they all had a prior obligation. Billy had to do some machines. Zach had to be a party dude.
Yeah,
Jason leads. That's the best I could get for the Ninja Turtles reference.
Jason leads.
Jason leads and Billy does machines.
A weird. Okay, I had a thought, but I'm not gonna say it.
Kimberly is cool but rude. And Zach is a party dude.
Yes.
Alright, anyway.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think that's a decent placing for this episode, though, because it the only good thing about it was the introduction of the weapons.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So next is number 22, which is I Guy.
That low, huh?
Yeah, I think that was mostly Crow royalty influenced. I don't think it was the best episode in the world by any means. But I think Crow had a particular hate boner about it. But for that being said, the next one up is Big Sisters, and I don't think it's better than Big Sisters, so I think it's in the right place.
Yeah, well, I found it interesting because it was the only episode where the monster of the day kind of felt like, okay, I know that all of them, or at least quite a few of them, had some history in the past to do with planets that they've conquered, but
Yeah, I do kind of like that world building of like, here's what Rita was up to before she got space dumpstered.
we saw clips of I Guy, of I Guy, fucking hell, of I Guy, actually doing his thing on other planets before he was on Earth, and we saw the whole main eye flying about, and that creeped me out, to be honest.
Yeah, that aspect is pretty interesting. So here's how we'll handle it, because we're going through our ranking list and also talking about our thoughts on the episode. So I figured out what I think is the best way to go about it. We're gonna go through the whole list without changing anything. But anytime that we feel like an episode might need to be reassessed, I will mark it down, and then we'll talk about those episodes and how we want to shift the ranking once we get through talking over every episode.
Okay, makes sense.
So there you go. So we'll look at I Guy again at some point. But next, number 21, Big
Big
Sisters.
Sister. I'm just marking these down for now.
There is already a document. I need to share it with you so you don't have to create your own clone documents.
I'm already making it.
I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Like, I'm done with catching up on the document. Right, Big Sisters. Okay, I wasn't a fan of the character of oh, what's her name? The little girl.
Oh, the shitty little girl. I don't remember her name, but I remember what she did and who she
Maria.
was. Maria.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of Maria, but I did like the fact that um you know Trini and Kim kept trying to make her feel like she was welcome and
Yeah, Trini and Kim were definitely like good in this episode. Like that's why I said it's I know it's better than I Guy because I remember the good Trini and Kim stuff and I like that better than anything that was going on in I Guy. I think, but we'll reassess that. But regardless, yeah, Trini and Kim are good, but the shitty little girl was bad. And the episode was kind of uneventful. So yeah, I think around this low of an area is pretty appropriate for Big Sisters.
very fair, especially considering how forgettable the monster was.
I don't even
It was
remember what the monster was, even a little at all.
a big chicken.
Oh, it was
It,
Choky Chicken
it was just a chicken.
or whatever he was actually called, Chunky Chicken,
Because was it Chunky
who
Chicken?
Crow gave best character in that episode.
He is just called Chunky Chicken.
He is called Chunky Chicken.
Oh, should we should I be saying who my favorite characters from these episodes were as we go
You know
down this
what?
list?
For some reason, we were going to do that separately, but you're right. That's a much better way to go about it. Just real quick to catch up, teamwork. My favorite character was Alpha. I liked dancing Alpha in teamwork.
Teamwork was episode
3.
3. Okay, so my favorite character from Teamwork was actually Zordon. I don't know why I picked
Yes,
him.
I remember you were telling me about how like he was actually good at like helping the Rangers strategize in this episode, and that was like
Oh
a
yeah, that
rare.
was
He was in
yeah,
rare form, as it were.
rare good characterization of Zordon.
Yeah. And then
Then
I Guy,
I guy
which is
episode.
episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's episode 8. I gave it to Zach.
I gave it to Billy.
Yes, you did give it to Billy. Yeah, I remember Billy being pretty good in that episode.
Yeah, I think both of them were really good. And it was like a contender between Billy or Zach, but I went with Billy because of he's the one that found the hat.
Yeah, I
And,
gotcha. And there's Big
and he,
Sisters, which is episode 7. I gave that one to Trini.
so did I.
Yeah, we matched on that one.
Yeah, we did. Okay, and there's number 20
Actually,
on the
real
list.
quick, because we're going to go over the favorite characters, which I do think we should be doing, but we should have done this game first in that case. So we're going to do a quick game, a quick little game that I set up. So
Okay,
get rid of your favorite characters right now. Don't be looking at them because
yeah,
you're
I'm not.
you're about to participate in a game show.
Okay. Oh, let me
Okay.
guess. I've got to try and guess what my own favorite character was, or each other's favorite character.
No,
And
no,
then,
no, no, no. Here's the game show, okay? So what I did was I tallied up all of the times we gave each of the Rangers favorite character. So obviously, this does not necessarily reflect our ranking of the Power Rangers because there's more that goes into it than who was your individual favorite character in a given number of episodes. But statistically, based on just pure numbers, these are our rankings of the Power Rangers. And I can see mine, so I'll just share mine after. But you get to play a game. So, who do you think you gave the least credit to? Who is your least given best Power Ranger?
It's gonna. This might be a bit shocking, but I think it was either Jason or Kimberly.
You are wrong on both fronts.
Wait, am I guessing yours or mine?
Yours.
Was it Zach?
Oh, you should guess mine too. That's a good idea. But yeah, you are correct. So your bottom is Zach. And then your next three are a three-way tie. So who do you think your three-way tie is?
Jason, Kim, and Billy.
You got 2 out of 3. It is Jason is not a part of the tie.
Trini?
It is Trini. They all tied for 3 points. Zach had 2 points. I don't think I said that.
And then,
And
and I'm
then
pretty sure.
I think you can guess your next two because it's pretty
Yeah,
easy.
Jason came in second, and Tommy came in first.
Correct. Jason got 4 points and Tommy got 5. So you split them around pretty evenly. Mine's a little bit different.
Your
Okay.
your
Go ahead.
lowest is Billy. I'm pretty sure you've told me it's Billy.
Yes, Billy actually has 0 points.
Yeah, that's what you told me. He has 0.
Yeah, I have not given it to Billy once yet. Well, I gave it to Billy once in Cosmic Fury, but that doesn't count for this.
Yeah, not in Mighty
Not in
Morphin.
Mighty Morphin yet.
Okay, so if there's ever any ties, are you going to tell me that it's a tie?
Yes, next is a two-way tie.
Okay. I'm guessing it's going to be Zach and Trini.
Half right. Not Trini.
Zach and Kim.
No.
Jason?
Yes. Jason and
Wait,
Zach are both tied for 3 points.
wow.
And then next is another two-way tie.
Is it the girls?
It's the girls, yes.
And then obviously number 1 is Tommy.
They got 4 points, and then yes, Tommy has 6 points. I've given him one more point than you even. My Tommy standing is powerful.
Yeah, that's insane.
So there you go. That's scientifically our ranking of the Power Rangers so far.
So far, yeah.
Which
Okay,
mine
number.
is kind like almost accurate to how I think I feel. Like if you swapped Zach, no. I guess we'll reassess this as we cover the show, but like Tommy and Tommy is my top, obviously. No, it's not accurate at all. Actually, it's less accurate than I thought it was. Looking, you see, I feel like I still haven't decided yet. I'm kind of back and forth every day as to who I like better between Jason and Kimberly. Like I know that Tommy is my number one Power Ranger ever, and that Adam is my number two Power Ranger. And then number three is either Jason or Kimberly, and I can't decide.
I'm not sure how well mine reflects because I know Tommy is my number 1. Then I think it's Trini for number 2.
Trini
Like,
is pretty awesome.
if we're going for just season 1, I think my personal favorite ranking goes Jason, not Jason, Tommy, Trini, Zach, Kim, and Jason.
I think tentatively, just to make a snap decision that I'll stick to for now, I'll say Tommy and then Jason for number 2, Kim for number 3, Zach, Trini, Billy.
Like, I was just trying to list off the top of my head. I can't think of what it would be.
I
Like,
love all 6 of
I
them.
can't choose because they're all amazing in their own ways.
That's the thing
Okay,
about I think that's one of the good things about the Zordon era is there are a good few seasons coming up like in the future where it's like, okay, these two Rangers are the best, and then these three, take them or leave them.
Yeah, but
But
the
these
first
ones are
season,
are so
oh,
like deep and good on their own.
it's like having an array of different desserts, but they're all really good desserts.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna pick. All right, Nightster, I don't want to have to edit the podcast, so you got to talk to the audience for like 2 minutes while I go to the restroom.
Okay, well,
Tell them just some stuff about Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Season 1. You'll figure it out.
I guess I'm doing this now. The the show where I ramble on about Mighty Morphin to myself because because I don't know what else to do. Right. So there's been a lot of episodes where characters are. Mm, okay, I started a thought and I had no idea where that thought was going. Okay, so I feel like it's a very common thing to say, "Oh, Tommy is the best out of the six," but he just is. Like, yeah, the others are cool as well, and a lot of them are underrated, especially characters like Trini and Zach. But Tommy just has the cool factor of, you know, being the guy that shows up out of nowhere, proceeds to kick the crap out of all the other five, refuses to elaborate, leaves, comes back, does the same, and then he gets found out, and then even then he's still kicking their butts, and then he's still kicking butt when he's on their team, but the thing is, he can't be there as much because of Ranger footage. There's not much of Dragon Ranger fighting with the Rangers because I'm guessing he was evil for a lot longer than Tommy was. So there wasn't many chances for Tommy to fight alongside his team. But when he did, it was good. And he was always finding. I was talking to Riely about this. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And we were talking about how Tommy always finds some reason to not be in a fight when he's part of the team.
Dude, I'm glad that I came back to you talking about this because this is like my biggest criticism of what we've watched of season 1 so far is America's favorite game show. Why can't Tommy morph today?
Like I was literally just saying that we talked about this like either yesterday or a couple of days ago.
It's really frustrating, which is why I don't hold the Green Ranger in such a high regard. He's my second lowest ranked Tommy form. And it's not because I don't like him. I do. I like all the Tommy forms except for that last one we don't talk about.
Which,
Um,
which even Power Rangers himself doesn't acknowledge that he was in that suit.
no, they don't. He
Like,
does the Turbo is in his Master Morpher in a comic book, but it was not in the TV show.
and it's also the only form that he did not fight in his dream sequence in Dino Thunder.
That's also true.
He fought Red Zeo, he fought White Tiger Ranger, he fought the Green Ranger, but he didn't fight Red
Forget about that
Turbo.
one. Forget about that one. No, no, we don't need to think about that one. Tommy's awesome. We love Tommy. Don't think about Turbo.
The only Red Turbo Ranger is TJ.
Yes, he's the only one.
Uh,
TJ all the way down.
that's amazing.
It's like a Gold Ranger situation where everybody thought that Tommy was the Red Ranger. Like they thought that Billy was the Gold Ranger. But actually it was a character we had never met named TJ the whole time. Much better of a character we've never met than Trey of Triforia. We'll get there.
Oh my god. Yeah. Brave Trevor. I'm. That's gonna be a character.
Yeah, do you know anything about Triforia? How much Zeo have you seen?
All I know is that he's like one guy, but then he's three guys, and he gives his power to Jason.
It's true. That's why it's Triforia night, like a three.
Yeah, a trio.
Tray of Triforia. What a character. We'll get there. We'll get there in about 100 episodes.
Speaking of episodes,
Well, yeah, let's get
episode
back to
20.
episodes. Number 20 is For Whom the Bell Trolls, which I believe is the Tickle Sneezer episode.
For whom the bell tolls. Let me just fact check. That is his episode. Yep.
Which I like the Tickle Sneezer episode, but like only because it's so weird. In terms of like quality, this is about the right place for it. I'm gonna have a similar
Yeah.
crucible with Island of Illusion to spoil the next actual episode of Megazord Radio. We'll get there when we get there. But I also feel that way about this episode, where it's like I kind of love it, but it's bad though.
Okay, so I've got a bad but lovable episode coming up on my next watch. Okay, gotcha.
Yes, Island of Illusion I would say is bad but lovable. We'll see if you feel the same way.
We'll see. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll get there pretty soon.
Pretty soon, the couple days,
Couple of days, yeah.
couple days. Yeah, it was a fun Trini spotlight. I like
It
the
was.
Tickle Sneezer's just like he's not a bad guy. He's just misunderstood.
Yeah,
That's those monsters are always fun.
like he wasn't made by Rita to be like this all destroy the Rangers and take over the world type monster. He was just a toy that Rita decided, well, you've got powers that can uh, capture anything into your collection. So do that with those pesky teens, and this planet is mine.
And he was like, "Oh, but my friend Trini said that I shouldn't do that." And then Rita was like, "I hate you. Fuck you."
Yeah, and Trini was like, "Oh, if you don't um, uh, give that stuff back, then people will get hurt." And he's like, "Well, I don't want
I
to hurt
don't want anybody to
anybody,"
get hurt. It's me, Tickle Sneezer.
which is why he's he's the one I chose for my favorite character of the episode.
I was about to say, I know for a fact you chose Tickle Sneezer as your main character because I remember questioning that.
I
I
did.
gave it to Trini. Um, it's always interesting to see what monsters of the week get it, because we've both given it to two, and it's a different two.
Yeah.
So that's your first monster of the week you've given it to is Tickle Sneezer. He was memorable enough that he's the favorite character of the episode.
Because
So
he's like the only monster so far that wasn't evil. He's just a misunderstood little guy.
yeah, no, I like the misunderstood little guys for sure. So I feel that. But regardless, kind of a weird episode. I think in the right range, ranking wise.
Y- I just hate the fact that it was a dream sequence.
Yeah,
I
that kind of ruins it a little too. That's
I
probably part of why it's so low.
I hate episodes that are just, oh, it was all a dream, because that
It's all a
completely
dream.
nullifies every single bit of character growth that anyone went through in the episode, because it didn't
Yeah,
happen.
it's annoying. Number 19, a pressing engagement,
Pressing
which is the
in.
episode where Jason does 3,000 bench presses and fights King Sphinx.
I think I might have given this one to Jason.
If my documentation is correct, you gave it to Rita.
Oh, I might have done the episode 4. I did give it to Rita. Oh yeah, because it was my reasoning for this one was the fact that it was the only time or the first time I felt Rita had a solid thought out strategy to properly destroy them. Like, take Red away, kill him, and the leader of the team is gone, so the rest will fall like flies.
That's fair. I gave it to, this is actually my first monster of the week because I gave it to King Sphinx because he's really cool.
He is cool.
But yeah, this episode, I'd say a fairly uneventful one. Like it's
I didn't,
iconic in a way because of Jason versus King Sphinx, but like overall, I just don't think it's very eventful. So I think it's in the right place.
I didn't understand it, and there's something about it that we also mentioned became kind of dumb because
Yeah.
um, Zordon had the crystals made, which became vials of liquid for some reason.
Yeah, the fucking
And
crystals that I don't get because they use the crystal. Okay, so the crystals in this episode, they can't. Their teleportation is like fucked for some reason. But I guess with the crystals, you can like summon the Power Rangers. So Jason has the crystals and he just like throws them, and then the other Power Rangers show up.
yeah,
And that's interesting. If they had never made a teleportation a thing, then that would be like an interesting and cool choice that they made. But teleportation is already a thing, so it's a completely useless thing. And then the crystals for the rest of the series are used to form the Megazord, which is something they've already been doing.
it's like,
You don't need the crystals to form the Megazord. You already were forming the Megazord.
and they keep using the crystals after that. Like,
Yeah, they just become part of the Megazord sequence, even though it's like you don't need them. What are they there for?
I would have understood if one of two things happened.
Maybe they make the Megazord stronger. But say that though.
That's the thing. Like, if a line was said that was like, oh, um, like if Zordon said a one-liner about these energy crystals power up the energy waves of your Zords, giving your Megazord a power boost, sure, but he didn't. And I would have understood if maybe the crystals were needed for that one time, and after that they didn't need them, and they would stop using them. But they didn't stop using them. In fact, Jason always says, "Power up your crystals," and they do that little flick thing, and they insert them. And
Which
I'm
I
like,
like
why?
that sequence, but it's just like, why did they not do it to begin with and then just start doing it and now they do it every time?
It's a cool sequence, but it doesn't make sense.
It's weird. It's really weird. But yeah, a pressing engagement is number 19. I think it's where it needs to be. Number
Mm.
18 is Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Oh, the itsy bitsy spider.
He went up that water spout. Down came the rain, washed that spider out.
Episode 23.
Which I will point out that first of all, I gave favorite character to not Billy. That was you. I was
That
like
was me.
Billy, but I didn't give it to Billy at any time. That doesn't make sense. Um, I gave it to Tommy, and you gave it to Billy, as I just established. I would like to point out, just for the comedic element, because I don't think you've listened to the podcast yet, or I don't know if you would ever, but uh, both Crow Royalty and our guest we had on for that episode gave it to Billy's little mouse that he had, Jack the Mouse.
Oh, that should I should have picked Jack the Mouse. Or maybe the spider that crawled on Zach's shoulder.
Yeah,
I can't remember why I chose Billy.
because he had a little mouse.
Well,
but
probably,
but
yeah. Yeah.
but Crow and Bo just decided the mouse was the real star and gave it to Jack the Mouse.
Yeah, Billy had a mouse and uh
Billy had a mouse. Zach's afraid of bugs. They had to fight a big bug. Zach gets over his fear of spiders, but not really though, because Tommy puts a plastic spider on his shoulder and freaks him the fuck out.
yeah, that was funny.
Which that's
I
why that's probably a big reason why I gave my favorite character to Tommy in this episode.
I was about to say I was so close to doing the exact same thing. Like I was so tempted to have my favorite character be Tommy just for that last little bit. But no, I gave it to Billy because mouse.
Understandable, but yeah, I kind of like this episode. Honestly, I think maybe this goes on the reevaluation list. It's weird to me that this one is this low.
Yeah, I mean the monster is pretty cool. It's a giant spider with
And like Zach being afraid of bugs is like something that comes back up and is like an element of his character. There's fun, goofy kid stuff at the end with Tommy's prank. Fucking Jack the Mat. Like, come on now. The great episode.
yeah.
So we'll see if we decide to move that one. That's going on the potential move list. But number 17 is High Five, which is episode 2.
Which I gave to Trini.
I also gave it to Trini. And
This
yeah, this one was a little. Honestly, I'm surprised this one isn't lower. Like that's a little rude, I suppose. There's some good stuff, but I don't like that Trini, who is like the biggest badass ever to exist, just randomly in this episode for no reason, never before and never again, is like, oh, I can't heights, I can't get down, Billy. Oh no! It's like really goofy.
being fair, it is only episode 2, and it seems like she got well over her fear of heights at the end of the episode because she scaled that rope.
That's true, she did. It's just it was weird because it's like it's not really consistent with Trini's character to me for her to be so like pathetically afraid of heights. Like it just doesn't fit.
True, but she does kind of fight through her fear, which is the point of the episode.
Yeah, that's probably why it's not lower. Like I was thinking that it maybe should be. But I think it's probably in the right place. Kind of lower half, but a little bit higher than some other episodes. This is probably correct.
Yeah.
Then number
Also,
16. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, have to mention the whole Jason landing on Billy.
That was funny.
The faces Billy made. Yeah,
And number 16 takes us to where the journey all began. Day of the Dumpster.
the dumbster. I was so basic.
It's a very basic premiere. Like it's higher than the episodes we talked about so far because it's the first episode. It establishes all the tropes and all the characters and like it has good moments to that end, but it is a very like generic pilot. Like it's not anything to write home about. Going forward, a lot of these like a lot of the Disney seasons especially, the premiere is like the best episode of the season or like definitely up there. But earlier on, I feel like premieres weren't as good. So
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Day of the Dumpster is pretty low. Like to give an example of something we'll get to way later. We don't mind talking about later seasons because we're not going to get to talk about them in depth for several years. But Dino Thunder, Day of the Dino, looks like a fucking movie, whereas the rest of the show looks like a season of Power Rangers. Like it's crazy
It's
how well crafted Day of the Dino was.
it's so good. Like freaking. I love the first usage of their civilian powers. It's just so good,
Very good.
especially
I
Connor
believe
when
I believe that's also the episode where Tommy Spin kicks a T-Rex. Maybe that's the next one, but I'm pretty sure it's Day of the Dino.
yeah. I love how we went from Mighty Morphin to Dino Thunder. Just
We
the
bounce
same.
around a lot on this show. That's classic. It's like we never left.
Yeah. Wait. Oh my god, Delve the Dino was also the episode that Kira twisted Elsa's arm.
It's a great episode.
Amazing.
Anyway, yeah, pretty generic. A lot of iconic lines, a lot of fun little moments, but overall pretty generic. Number 15 is Dark Warrior.
Oh, and the 16 favorite character was Jason
Oh
for
fuck,
mine.
forgot about that. I also gave it to Jason. We matched on that one.
So Dark Warrior. Uh, the secret formula episode.
And yes, we did make the very obvious joke. The name of the Megazord Radio episode for this episode is just crabs, all caps, exclamation point. Because we just referred to the monster as Plankton the whole time. Because he was trying to steal the formula.
Oh my god. I don't know how I missed that joke. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was the episode with Plankton trying to steal the formula. That was it was a Billy Spotlight episode.
It
There was
was.
like Trini's scientist martial arts uncle.
Who I almost gave the episode to.
I do like him. I do like him.
He's fun. At first, I thought like in his first appearance, because of the shot of him in his lab, I honestly thought it was going to be another Sentai clip that they dubbed over. But then they brought him into the juice bar and had him interact with, Trini and Billy and all that. And I was like, oh, okay, it's actually this is actually an actor that they got for Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I gave the episode to Jason, and I cannot remember why.
I gave it to Billy because I think the whole thing with Jason was the fact that he was, well, Billy was going to train with Jason to fight back against the bullies. That was,
Maybe I do like Jason's like mentor relationship with Billy. So maybe that is what it was.
yeah. I gave it to Billy for like finally standing up for himself against was it Vulcan Skull
It
that
was
pushed him
probably
around.
Bulk and Skull. If there were some bullies going on in Power Rangers season 1, I'm gonna guess it was Bulk and Skull.
I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was them.
Man, Bulk and Skull. It's so I hate that they're bullies in season 1 now because they're just like the best in every other season, and in season 1 they kind of suck. like like they have their moments. I have given favorite character to Skull one time, exactly one time already. So Jason Narvi already putting in a little bit of work, but they get so much better. Like season 2, they're still like kind of jerks a little, but they calm it down to an intense degree. And that's no longer the point of their character. The point of their character becomes they want to know who the Power Rangers are, and they do a bunch of harebrained schemes to try to figure out who the Power Rangers are, and that's their gimmick, and it works perfectly. It's great. And then they
Yeah.
do find out who the Power Rangers are in the episode with the memory erasing monster, and I'm sure you know how that story ends. I'm sure you can make some guesses.
I wonder.
I wonder what happens.
Surely they don't get their memories of the identities erased or anything.
No,
Surely
no, 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 no.
that would just be silly.
Then season 3 and Zeo, they're cops and they're detectives. Then they're monkeys for a while. That was the weird one. you,
What?
you don't know about when they were monkeys?
Oh my god! Wait,
The first half of Turbo, they're monkeys.
I forgot about that. I saw something about it. I just thought,
Elgar turns them into monkeys.
oh
And then they're
my
just
god,
monkeys for a while.
monkeys.
And then they're looking for odd jobs. And then they're alien hunters. And then Bulk and Phenomenus, the guy who they alien hunt with, go to TerraVenture and are in 2 episodes, and Skull overslept and didn't get to go.
Someone made an image of the actual shots of them being turned into monkeys, and over the top it just says shift into chimpos.
That's pretty good. Also, real quick, this is talking about a plot hole, but again, the later plot hole. But again, we don't shy away from later seasons because who knows if we'll ever get to them.
Yeah.
How'd Bulk get off Terra Venture?
Point.
Because
How did he?
everybody was on Terra Venture, and they all were stuck there. They lived there, and it was their new home where they lived. And Bulk and Phenomenus were there, and then just Bulk and Skull are in Forever Red, and nobody ever says anything about how Bulk escaped Terra Venture.
And he was also in the freaking. Oh no, this would have been after Space because Terra Venture. Never mind.
Yeah. Forever Red was his first appearance after Lost Galaxy, but they just never address that he was on. I don't think it was Terra Venture actually. I think, or maybe I think Terra Venture like becomes part of Miranoi at the end of Lost Galaxy. I'm kind of uh, Lost Galaxy is one of the only seasons I haven't seen in a long time because most seasons that I've seen I watched recently because I had only ever watched like three all the way through. Lost Galaxy was one of those three. I watched Lost Galaxy in like 2017. So it's been a minute, but I'm pretty sure Terra Venture becomes like part of Miranoi, and then everybody just lives on Miranoi, and then suddenly Bulk's not there anymore, and it's like, but he was on Miranoi though. How did he get here?
Yeah, it makes very little sense.
Skull missed his friend so much that he built a rocket ship, and he went to get him.
Yeah, that's how much he cares.
How much he cares.
Oh my god, there's just a picture of freaking Bulk and Skull being carried by the
Maybe the
Rangers.
Space Rangers help. That's my head canon because they live on Earth, most of them. And Bulk and Skull know they're the Power Rangers because of the in space finale. So maybe
Yeah,
Skull's like, "Hey man, Bulk went to like space, and I haven't heard from him in a long time. Can you guys like help me?" And then they went and got Bulk for him. That's my headcanon. There you go.
like, I'm actually I'm gonna try googling it. How did
How did
Bulk
Bulk get off Miranoi? I don't think they explain it ever.
Bulk and his return to Earth? He probably just hitched a ride with the Rangers. They had a Galaxy episode where they brought some kid back. Heck, they even had a crossover with Light Force and Forever Red, which not only brought Leo and Oracle to Earth, but also told us that Andrus had a new
Yeah,
Megazord.
maybe they just dropped Bulk off when they were coming to
Yeah,
cross over with Lightspeed Rescue. We just don't see
yeah,
it.
maybe. So what did you place at 14?
14 is next. Let's see. Number 14 is. We're getting close to that top 10, that delicious top 10. Number 14 is No Clowning Around.
Oh god, I hated watching that.
Why? Do you have a clown fear?
No, I just find them creepy.
Well, I'm known to want to fuck clowns, but only the female ones, not this
What
one.
the
But
fuck?
I like clowns generally, is a fact that people know about me.
Uh, a Riely X pineapple.
Not pineapple, only female clowns. But I'm just saying, I definitely have no aversion to clowns, as is well documented. But I actually like the clown a lot in this episode. I think he is creepy to your credit, but I think that's what they're trying to do, and I think he does it extremely well. And also his monster form is like a super rad like Cthulhu nightmare monster, and it's fucking awesome. I gave my favorite character to Pinoctopus this episode. This is the other monster of the week I gave it to because I like that he's a creepy clown first, and then he's this like crazy Cthulhu fucking be not afraid biblically accurate monstrosity. It's fucking sick.
I do like the monster form, but the clown form is off to me just because I think they leaned a bit too into the whole creep factor, like how he literally grabbed uh Trini's niece's arm and like pulled her away to say, "No, you're coming with me." Like like come on, bro, that is delving a bit too into kidnapping. I wasn't a fan, but
I mean, monsters are gonna kidnap kids. I guess I understand why it would make you uncomfortable, but I think it served. I think it served to, you know, to solidify him as a very like gross, creepy threat that they have to kill, and then they do kill him, and it's
Oh, and
great.
the putties talk in this episode.
The putties do talk. Well, the putties don't talk, but they turn into like guys, and then those guys talk.
But it's still the putties just dressed as clowns.
Weird.
Uh,
That is
I
a
gave this,
weird part.
I gave this one to Trini.
I gave this one to Pine Octopus, as I
You,
previously established.
you mentioned, yeah. I
Okay.
just liked Trini's protective nature over the kid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she was definitely, if I had to pick like a ranger to give it to in this episode, it would be Trini, like for sure. Number 13.
I just love Trini, man. She's so good.
Trini is very good. Number 13 is the Spitflower.
Oh, not the little flowers biting on the people.
That was a very silly thing that happened.
It was very silly.
Those little silly mouth flowers.
Episode 24, which I gave to surprise, surprise, Tommy.
Wow. Crazy. I gave it to, let's see. Would you look at that, Tommy?
Because he was so like helpful and kind to Kim. He was like, all right, no, I don't care what happens. We are making sure her float is
Oh, this was the
submitted.
parade float episode?
It was the parade float. Yeah.
Oh my god, this episode was great.
He was like, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I don't care what happens. Yeah, there's a monster to deal with, but Kim worked really hard on this. We're making sure that this happens.
Isn't this also, don't they like sit down? Maybe that's not this episode. There's an episode where Kim is really sad. It might be this one. This is like one of my favorite moments that we've seen on the show so far, and I can't remember what episode it's in. But Kim is like bumming. And then I think it's Trini first, who like, and then like all of her friends sit down and start like mimicking her bumming. Like they all sit in the exact same pose to like, and they like cheer her up, and they're like, "Come on, Kim, it's okay." I don't know if that was this episode or not, but it was.
I know what you're talking about. It might be this episode. Like they mimic the exact pose she's sitting in. Like one arm just resting and then the other up up to the cheek.
I like when they're just nice teen friends. Let me look up the Spitflower real quick and kind of skim through, see if I can find it.
And even she can't hold it in for long because she sees what they're doing and she's like, "Oh, you guys!"
You
Like that's
dummies.
exactly what I'd do.
All right, let's see. Gitchy, 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 gitchy. Okay, I think it is.
Or I just type in the episode name and I'm just getting these random pictures.
No, I think that might actually be Wheel of Misfortune. Now that I think about it,
Oh, it could be that.
Wheel of
I think
Misfortune.
I think actually it's because they're asking around if anyone had seen the wheel, and when no one has, she sits down, giving up, and then they all sit down to console her. So I'm pretty sure it was Wheel of Misfortune.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Yep, that it is Wheel of Misfortune. So we'll get there. For a minute, I was if that moment was in this episode, I was gonna be like, how the fuck is it ranked this low? But without this moment, without that moment, although there's a lot of good. I feel like this might have to go on the reevaluation list because this is like a really good Tommy and Kimberly episode. Probably one of
Really?
my most memorable ones. I like the episodes where Rita wrecks their like real life and they have to handle that. Like I think this one deserves to be higher, honestly. I think this goes on the reevaluation list.
Yeah. I think this one also, um, going back to the conversation we had about the Hasbro's favorite game of why is Tommy not in the fight. This is a genuinely good reason for why he wouldn't be.
He was
Like,
getting stuff.
Oh yeah, the episode sets it up in a way that he wouldn't be in the fight because he'd be busy with the float.
Although that does kind of pose the question of like, does Tommy get different rules than the rest? Because like, I feel like if the main five had been in that type of situation, it would be a thing of, oh, look, I want to make this float, but like, the world's more important. I gotta go.
Yeah, well, maybe he knew that the other five could at least hold.
Yeah,
Um,
like he's new. Like I'm like he's like these five have fought a monster before. Like I'm a call away, but they're probably fine. Yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
So yeah, the Spitflower, and then number 12, Gung Ho.
gung ho.
Gotta have a Gung Ho.
Very good episode.
Very good. I think this goes on the reevaluation list. I think this might have been a crow as being a downer, because this is like one of the most memorable episodes of the show to me.
Jason gets the shield for the first time.
Jason gets the shield. The like Tommy and Jason connection kind of like starts to build for like the first time. That development kind of starts to come in place.
This is the episode I was talking about where Jason and Tommy have that teamwork thing.
Yes, yeah. This is the episode we thought the teamwork was for 1 second. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I thought it was Zach was because Zach was a pressing part of that because he was trying to, you know, talk to them and say, bro, get it together. You're on the same side here. Like, why are you acting like you're enemies?
You gave it to Zach for being like the peacemaker. I ended up giving it to Jason. I mean, probably just because he was like cool and had the shield. I think
Yeah,
he was the one to kind of pull them together. I think. Like I think Jason was kind of the one who had to be like, all right, we're being stupid. You're good at this. I'm good at this. We got to take this as a team. Let's go.
yeah, and then Tommy followed suit with the whole, um, you know, doing a big thing for his friend. Just like,
Like here's my
okay,
shield.
if
Yeah.
you go up there with no protection, you're gonna get messed over by that giant Zord. So here, take my shield.
The giant Zord, who's our friend, as it turns out, by the way, that's probably one of the most egregious Zordon as a jerk moments. Is he puts he makes them fight a giant dinosaur to like test their friendship.
It was a dick in that episode. And one thing I have to point out about the Dragon Shield passing over is I've seen pictures and videos of the future times that Tommy does this. This is the only time that Tommy keeps the arm braces.
That's weird.
Like
He's like,
every
you
other
don't get all
time,
my cool stuff. I get to keep the arm bracelets. I'm
every
still a
other
little
time,
mad at you.
every time he's passed the shield over, apart from this one, those little gold bands around his arms stay on Tommy.
He's still a little mad. He doesn't want to give Jason his bracelets.
But in the other times, like when he gives it to Jason again and then to Zach, he gives the other stuff to them, which I guess makes sense that they would go to them because it kind of matches the shield. But it's a bit weird. Like, why not the first time?
Okay, yeah, but number 11, The Trouble with
Oh,
Shell Shock.
very fun episode.
Yes, extremely fun episode. Squat and Babu make a monster. Lunk and Babu. Sorry, that was sacrilegious of me. Lunk and Babu make a
Lunken
little
back.
monster. It's a good
Yeah, I was
episode.
need to remind myself the episode number. 22. So I gave it to. I think actually. Oh no, I gave it to Jason.
I gave it to Trini.
I thought I gave it to Babu, but
You gave one to Babu.
I know I gave one to Babu, and I thought it was this one, but apparently it was
It was
not.
not, I know the one you gave to Babu because I had yelled at you about it, but we'll get there in a minute. And by a minute I mean several minutes because it's much higher for similar reasons to why I yelled at you. Um, Number 10 is Peace, Love, and Woe. This is the start of our top 10. Peace, Love, and Woe.
And this is the one where, well, the only other time that I gave it unto the Monster of the Week was Madame Woe,
Madame
because
Woe is really cool.
she seemed less like a Monster of the Week and more like a side main villain to me. So it's really a shame that she wasn't like that she was destroyed when she was.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that she doesn't really get to shine beyond this one episode, but I think she does good at being a memorable one-time character. And I gave it to Jason for this episode.
Yeah, I gave it to Woe. She was so cool. She trapped someone at the mirror dimension. She controlled elements. She's such a cool design.
Yeah, it's true. I do really like Madame Woe. Number 9, Wheel of Misfortune.
Here we go.
Here's the one with the moment, that great friendship moment.
Every everyone needs a friend group like that.
Yeah, I think Wheel of Misfortune is really up there for like friend group episode. Like Wheel of Misfortune is a really good episode for just like look at how friends they are. Like Tommy getting pissed at Bulk and Skull for being mean to Kim. Uh the other of the main five doing the mocking of her sulking to cheer her up.
Yeah,
It's a nice episode. It definitely deserves to be in the top 10 where it is for sure.
definitely does.
Number
And I
8. Sorry.
we didn't do who we gave it to.
Oh fuck. Oops.
Episode 27. Oh, it's the most recent episode.
It is.
I gave it to Kim.
I gave it to Tommy.
That's very fair. He was very helpful to Kim. He
For
was very nice
sure.
to her.
All right,
Okay,
number
now
8 is a
8.
timeless classic, which I think it might be time to reevaluate because I think Crow's the reason it's this low. Number 8 is Food Fight.
This is the episode that you said this will be the episode where no decide whether or not.
Whether or not
Um,
season 1 is for you. This is a
yeah,
great litmus test for Mighty Morphin season 1 because it's perfectly like it's got all the elements. It's got the kids just doing a different charity event that requires a radically different set of skills every week, like they're fucking superheroes or something, and not in the Power Ranger way. um, and they run into a problem, which is a monster who has like the goofiest, shittiest costume in history, but also one of my favorite monster costumes ever at the same time. And he runs around and he eats everything, and the Power Rangers have to outsmart him. It's not just that they beat him up until he dies, they have to outsmart him.
and fun little fact: Porky Pudge, or whatever his name was,
Pudgy Pig.
a pudgy pig. He is, in a way, in almost every single episode up to where I've seen so far. I've
Yeah, because
noticed.
the little clay figure of Pudgy Pig. It's one of Finster's favorites, is the Pudgy Pig.
Yeah, there's always a little figure of Pudgy Pig when Finster is talking.
And
Maybe
just to get you excited, Nightster, you'll be happy to hear this is not the last we see of Pudgy Pig,
Pudgy
fully
Pig,
realized as a monster.
Pudgy Pig. Yay! I want to see him again.
We're gonna see him one more time, but we'll get there when we get there.
We
Uh,
will.
so yeah,
Uh,
food fight. We'll talk about
episodes.
maybe moving it up a couple places because it is a very good one. Number 7 is Foul Play in the Sky.
And once again, we missed the favorite.
Fuck! I'm so
Come
bad
on,
at this.
Riley.
Favorite character? I gave it
I
to
give.
Finster, and I believe you did too.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I like that he
Okay.
just really likes Pudgy Pig. It's his favorite.
Which explains why he brought him back.
Yeah.
Okay. So 4-7.
Number 7 is Foul Play in the Sky.
I'll play in this. guy. I do not remember by name. I need to get some images.
It's the episode where Kim goes on a plane with Bulk and Skull and her uncle.
Oh, and the Rangers get attacked by a snake monster.
Is it a snake monster?
Like a snake lizard.
I thought it was a bird monster.
No, it's a snake lizard, and he has a bow and arrow.
Oh, it's Snizzard! You know who fucking Snizzard is voiced by?
Who?
Walter fucking White.
You're kidding me.
Look it up. Brian Cranston voiced Snizzard.
No. Snizzard. Voice actor, MMPR. Fuck, no. What?
Yeah.
Say my name.
And that's not the last we hear of him
Snizzard.
either. He voices one more monster this season.
You're Snizzard.
He's Snizzard and he's Mirror Master or whatever the fuck for a bad reflection on you.
Oh, I didn't even hear it. I'm so... Oh, man, I hate myself for not realizing Walter's voice.
I mean, he was 20 years younger when he did this, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Okay, Foul Play in the Sky was episode 14, so I gave this one to...
Kimberly had to land a plane. It was
Kimberly.
pretty crazy. Yeah. Did I give it to Kimberly? I feel like I had to have, right? Let's see. I did give it to Kim.
Yeah, because, she went up.
She lands a fucking plane.
She landed a fucking plane under the stress of having Bulk and Skull in the back.
Yeah.
And then she made use of the power bow.
She can't even morph so she won't die on impact, because then maybe Bulk and Skull will see.
And then making use of the power bow after that was the cherry on top, because as you may know, it is my favourite of the Mighty Morphin weapons.
That's true. I gave it to the power axe, but the power bow's up there.
Because it fires actual arrows.
That is a good aspect. Anyway, the last one that did not make the cut of the top 5, number 6. Life's a Masquerade.
I remember this one briefly.
The Halloween episode, which I do really like.
Which was the I'm pretty sure it's the only one that the monster of the week wasn't wasn't Sentai footage. It was just some guy.
Well, he was, and part of it he was Sentai footage, which made it really jarring that the American costume was so shitty, and then it was Sentai footage and it was good. But I liked the episode. I like the concept of both Alpha and a monster being able to blend in because it's the Halloween party and everybody's in costume. Like, I like that bit. I like Billy getting so invested in being dressed as Sherlock Holmes that he starts trying to solve the mystery of who the Frankenstein is. And that leads him to his first ever solo morph, which instead of saying it's morphin time, he goes full nerd mode and says it's time for molecular transmutation. Which I think we did say that instead of it's morphin time at the end of that episode.
Yeah. Although I have to say, one thing I do like about the Frankenstein monster was the bolts in his neck, how he just popped them out and then made them into these chain weapons. That was really cool.
That's awesome. I love the Frankenstein monster. But I gave my favorite character. I definitely was not about to say number 5. I was about to say my favorite character. Of course, I would never fuck that part up. I gave it to Zach.
Episode 26. I also gave it to Zach.
I have it down as Tommy for you.
What?
You gave it to Zach and Gung Ho.
Season 1 episode 25th episode. Why does it say 26? I did give it to Tommy, yes. Because this one was a case of it was just funny how he dressed up as the Frankenstein monster at the very end.
Yeah, that was a good twist. that Tommy actually was a Frankenstein monster, just not that one. Alright, top 5 time. Number
Uh,
5 is Happy Birthday, Zach.
let's forget that.
Or as we called our episode, the emotional scarring of Zach Taylor.
Yeah, where he thought that none of his friends remembered his birthday.
Which, again, this is a bit I'm kind of stealing from the Morphin Grid. Everybody go listen to the Morphin Grid. They're probably better than us. But it's not cool, man. Like, you get the surprise party at the end, and I guess that's cool, but like, it fucks with your head when you have to like go all day thinking none of your friends care about you. Like, it was kind of fucked they did that to him, but like, there was a lot of other character stuff in the episode I liked, and I also kind of liked the tricks a little. Like, some of them are funny. I liked Kim's really stupid story about her dog's birthday. Like, I liked some of the espionage that was going on despite the emotional scarring, and of course, everybody parties at the end. It's still a happy ending. But yeah, we ranked it pretty high because there was some good character interactions this episode.
Yeah.
And also, I think Zach has a pretty cool fight in it, if I remember correctly.
All of his fights are cool fights. He's a dance fighter.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I gave my favorite character to Zach in this episode.
As did I.
No, I didn't. I gave it to Kim. Never mind. I just assumed I gave it to Zach. I guess I did give it to Kim.
I gave it to Zach. I went with the obvious choice.
Yeah, I went a little different. I guess I wanted to be a hipster and give it to Kim. But next, number
In fourth place,
4.
shying away from the top 3.
Yep, just a shot away for the top 3. Switching places.
The episode where Kim and Billy
The classic body swap episode, which this became a seasonal tradition in the Neo Saban era and onward. But this
It
was the
did, yeah.
first, and I like it a lot.
I found it really funny how oh, I know that was another episode I'm thinking of. Never mind. One
But
thing I do
yeah,
like this one though was um Billy and Kim trying to live as each other.
yeah, that I think that's really what made this episode so charming, is like Billy and Kimberly trying to live each other's lives and being very bad at it. Also, poorly applied makeup nerd Kimberly, kind of hot. I know
I
it's Billy in
question your
there, so it's a
taste.
little weird,
I
but
question your tastes because that's not doing it for me.
really?
No,
Amy Jo Johnson and some glasses and some slightly fucked up lipstick? It does it for me.
the glass is fine. Like, there's a picture of her just with the glasses, but with the smudges, I'm just like, oh my god, no.
Regardless, yeah, very, very fun episode. I think the body swap concept is perfect, and I'm glad it eventually became a seasonal tradition because it is a perfect premise for Power Rangers.
It is
Uh,
fun.
and it's very fun. It's very fun to see the different actors try to play the character of their co-stars, and it almost always comes off like they're making fun of them, and that makes it even better.
It's also fun when they realize what happened, and instead of having a reasonable reaction, they just stare off into the camera. But to them, it's a completely
For
random
them, it's
direction
nothing.
and just
Yeah,
scream. It's just, oh, we've swapped bodies. Ah!
yeah. All right, then number 3, the top 3. Number 3 is Power Ranger Punks.
Riely.
Yes. Damn it! No! It's a tragedy. I gave it to Kim.
I was waiting for it. I was like, right, I'll just say your name and then you'll realize. Okay, episode number, fucking.
You really should have wrote it down by name.
I should have. Okay, episode 16. I gave it to Alpha.
You did. I don't remember what Alpha did in that episode.
Me either.
Okay then.
I think he
Does he like talk shit to Punk, Kimberly, and Billy when they're in jail in an entertaining way?
wrong episode.
What do you mean
This
wrong
is
episode?
this is switching places, not
Oh, you're right. Damn
like
it. I thought we had moved on because I said it, but then I was
uh,
wrong to have said it. What did Alpha do in switching places?
he must have done something for me to pick him. Why did I pick him?
I don't know.
And maybe it was something to do with the genie and the
We had Amy
lamp.
Jo Johnson and David Yost doing like fun acting work, pretending to be each other, and you gave it to fucking Alpha for
Maybe
a reason we don't even remember.
maybe he did something with the lamp because it was also the genie episode.
Maybe, maybe. Is that the episode where Alpha goes out on his own and does like lightning strikes on putties with his head?
Uh, he grabbed something to do that. That might have been the lamp.
Okay, hold on. My cats sound like they're hungry. Welcome back to the night rants about something, a random non sequitur about season 1 show.
Well, while he does that, I will figure out what Alpha did by scrolling through the episode. So if I type in MMPR switching places, I am sure to find what Alpha did, and I can find my reasoning for giving him the spot. Okay, so I see Zordon. I see. Right, so there's the lamp. Okay, no, Zach got the lamp. So if Zach got the lamp, that wasn't Alpha. So what did Alpha do? So he teleports them. Uh, okay. So oh, right. I figured it out. I will probably wait for Riely to return so I don't have to explain it twice. But I have figured out why I chose Alpha for this. And I'm just hoping that he realizes why it was a fair choice. Because it was a pretty stressful situation for the boy. Alpha had a lot resting on his shoulders, and he's not really used to this kind of thing, I don't think. But he nailed it on the head.
Have you solved the mystery?
I've solved the mystery, and it's not what you thought.
Okay. Well, what I
Um,
thought was about Power Ranger Punk, so obviously. So what was it?
yeah, Alpha um, did not get the lamp. Zach did, but Alpha was the the power from the genie came from the lamp. So Alpha said, "Oh, I'll just zap it in the teleporter." But then Zordon explained that if he went too much overpower, that would, for some reason, destroy all the powers in the morphing grid, including the Rangers.
All of the power in the morphing grid.
So Alpha had a.
What was the episode with the fucking that the Morphin Masters are in?
I'm not. I'm not sure where they were in, but I know they were mentioned at some point.
Yeah, they talked about the Morphin Masters randomly, and then they circle that back around 23 seasons later. But
Morphing Masters. That might have actually been. Uh,
was it the trouble with Shell Shock?
it might have been because it was something to do with an antidote. Um, it was Big Sisters.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure why they were there.
Yeah, they had the power eggs. I was just trying to remember what happened with the power eggs.
Oh, the Power Eggs, yeah. So I gave it to Alpha because he had a lot lot of stress to go through it, and it was his one big moment of having to do something pretty big. And I thought he might not get another chance like that. So if he would ever get the episode spotlight, now would be a good time.
Yeah, that's fair. So as we already previously established, number 3 is Power Ranger Punks.
Very fun episode.
Very fun episode. I like Kim and Billy are like kind of like a pair, but they do like a lot. It seems like, or at least they do it very prominently these 2 times, so it makes you think about them as a pair. But this is 2 episodes now where it's just Kim and Billy obtain new quirks to their character and act in a different manner. And it's fun both times.
And I'm pretty sure this is the one I gave to Babu, which
You gave
you.
this one to fucking Babu when Punk Kimberly was on the table. How could you be so? Are you even a man? Are you even a straight man?
Hey, it's not that I dislike Punk Kimberly. I'm just trying to, be strategic about this. Like I want as many prominent characters as possible to have their time in the spotlight, and I'm not sure when certain characters are going to get their chances again. And Babu shown a little bit in this episode, so I thought I'd give it to him.
Honestly,
If I,
if I think of an episode where it's like, what episode would I give it to Babu? It would be like Day of the Dumpster. I'm surprised you didn't give Day of the Dumpster to Babu. That's like the most fond memories I have of Babu is Day of the Dumpster.
I just like
Walk
the
with
image.
me, talk with me.
I just like the little image of Babu on Rita's bike,
That is pretty
which is
funny.
which is the funniest vehicle ever, by the way. Even Rita on the bike, just cycling in the air. Uh,
But yeah, okay. I
I will.
gave favorite
I will
character to
say that
Kim.
Punk Kimberly is very like, wow.
Wow.
I found it very funny that she was hitting on Skull.
Skull got so close.
Yeah, he was so close.
It's
But
okay because they get married eventually, so it's fine.
what?
That's just a headcanon, but it's real to me. Spike is Kimberly's son. That's what you didn't know about Spike.
I wonder if there's a actual canon answer to Spike's mother.
I don't think so. I think it is left ambiguous, and I think it's Kimberly.
The identity of Spike's mother is not at all known. Vulcan Skull did at times hang out with other punk bullies in early episodes of the first season. So it's possible the mother was one of the female bullies the two hung out with.
Nah, it's
Nah, it's
Kimberly.
Kim. Even on Reddit, the first reply was freaking Kimberly,
Yes, so true.
which even says like it explains something, and it didn't actually say what it explained, but I'm curious. Nobody important. Spike's age determines that Skull knocked up someone in high school. So Kimberly, which explains everything, why she left, why she wrote the Dear John letter, and why she and Tommy didn't discuss the breakup in Turbo.
Can't explain why she left because she was doing a gymnastics, which is why she left.
But there's still the Dear John letter.
Maybe
Um
so. This paints Kim in an extremely unfortunate light, but it's the only way I can make this all make sense. Okay, I think the real answer is Power Rangers time doesn't move in the same way that you think it should move. So the Skull did not knock somebody up in high school. Is probably the real answer. But to try to paint a picture that makes sense under the context given, maybe right before Kim leaves, she has one last meeting with Skull. And things get a little emotional, and maybe they share some goodbye activities, and things don't quite go as planned.
things get so emotional with
And
a cycle.
Kim leads Tommy on for the next several months and doesn't tell him that she cheated on him. until
Unless
she
you have,
realizes that she's pregnant, and she's like, well, I kind of have to rip this band-aid off. So she's just like, yeah, I met somebody else. Sorry.
yeah, remember that weird bully from high school?
Remember
Yeah, I joined him.
Skull, who you still hang out with now?
One, one of the bullies turned your friends. Yeah, I, I banged him.
This is the real canon. I think Spike. Did they
Canon.
say how old Spike is outright? I feel like he's probably a little younger than you might think.
This Spike age. Um, in Runaway Spike, he is seen maneuvering a car and accepting a job as a security guard, making him at least 18 years old by Super Samurai.
What?
He's
At
at least 18.
what the fuck? You have to be 18 to be a security guard, no matter what.
I mean, he's driving a car as well. Is another
Yeah,
point.
which you could do at 16.
I don't know. Maybe it's the
So I guess the lowest possible estimate is 16, which even then, Super Samurai was 2012, I'm gonna say. Um, and that's 19 years after season 1. So that'd be 16 years after season 3. Yeah, it would have had to happen in season 3.
so Power Rangers Super Samurai aired from 2013 because
So it would have
normal
had to been
Sam
Zio. So Kim's out. It can't have been Kim.
normal Samurai was
Oh my
2000.
god! Is Spike's mom. You don't know this character, so this is nothing to you, but to me and to anybody who's seen Zio, is Spike's mom the model who doesn't get a name, who he accidentally spills skunk perfume on, and then they bond and have a sweet little moment, and it's nice. And Jason Narvi, I think the actress playing that character had a thing for Jason Narvi. Like that scene had a lot of like she's very into this boy. So maybe it was that chick. Maybe it was that famous model.
Imagine that, like your mom's a model and your dad met the Power Rangers.
Your dad's the Power Rangers bro.
Not even that in the comics, he Skull was a ranger.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Right, who did I give?
Power
Oh,
Rangers.
we're still on punks. We have
Yeah, we're
pretty,
still
pretty
on
awesome.
punks, but we already said who our favorite characters are. So now
Yeah,
it's time for number 2,
number
which
two.
is Different Drum.
The runner-up of best episode is Different Drum.
Which this was just a good episode for them being teens, and that's why we liked it so much.
Yeah, it's a great episode for that. And I also kind of liked the Megazord fight in this,
It had a
which
good
is great.
Megazord fight.
I I have to say I really really loved Kim's uh like friendship with um what was her name, the Melissa.
Melissa, okay, you don't want to say the deaf girl or the deaf chick because that would be insensitive. You had to figure it out.
Yeah, it felt a bit rude to just refer to someone by that, so I wanted to get the name. She is Melissa, and the friendship she and Kim had was really good, and you could see that Kim not only cared enough about people struggling with this sort of thing to learn sign language, but she was so like happy and friendly every time she was talking to Melissa. And I've heard that the sign language used in this episode is real sign language, which just bumps it up.
Yeah, if so, that's definitely a point in its favor. But shit, what was I about to say? Oh, another aspect of Different Drum I enjoy that I think we brought attention to in our podcast about it is the episode it's kind of a little bit of world building in a way if you look at it with a critical lens, because what it tells us is the Power Rangers was not just like the perfect group of exactly 5 friends that all got to be superheroes. They actually are a group of like a lot of friends, and 5 of them became the Power Rangers. And you're gonna see these other friends disappear pretty quick, mostly because Haim Saban doesn't want to pay a bunch of actors. But I like the implication that like these are very like friendly, sociable kids who have like a bigger like circle they run in, but then they become the Power Rangers, so they kind of have to just kind of tighten because they don't have time for gallivanting beyond each other.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, this is going to sound narcissistic, but it's kind of like these podcasts in a way where um we have friends that are mutual, and it's kind of like this big like friend group between us and the others. But um for now it's us two and maybe some guests along the way.
Yeah, we used to have a
Like
bigger friend
children.
group, but then me and Nightster had to become Power Rangers, so now we only hang out with each other.
That's not what I was getting at all. I was saying like things like, oh, both of us are friends with uh well, Crow, for example. He's not I don't really talk to him as much. Or um
I hate that
like
guy. Kidding.
the hey, don't start anything back up between you two. Or like the other friends that we've had through these various channels, and we're still friends with a bunch of them, but only two of us are like, hosting thi- this specific podcast. So it's like, oh, we became the Rangers of this cast.
That's true. I suppose that is the case, and I'm sure we'll have some of them on as guests. But the more people you have on a show, the harder it becomes to schedule. So if we do add a third, fourth, so on and so forth to the show ever, it would have to be somebody who could do the time slot, first of all, which is a pretty early time slot for anybody not in Beans and Toast Town. And
Soon.
also, they they just have to be like good for the dynamic. So I'd have to like see how it sounds. I would be open to it. I've thought about it. So maybe someday. But for now, it's us.
And
It's Riely and Nightster.
I know someone else in Beans on Toast Town, but the thing is, he's not really into anything related to Toku, so he wouldn't be good
Ah,
Joe. And you know who you are. I'm not sure if you're watching this, but you know who you are, cousin.
know who you are, sir.
That'll narrow it down. He's my cousin, and he makes
But
videos.
anyway, yeah, different drum. Very solid episode. I gave my favorite character to Zach.
Uh, was it episode 5?
Yes.
All right, Scooby. Yor. Well, I guess Goofy sounds more like.
No, that's not goofy at all. Yeah, it's a little closer.
I thought it was oh, yuck.
Hi
I get
there! It's me, Goofy!
oh there.
Sora! The Heartless are coming!
Oh, yuck. Sora. Uh, I gave it to Kim because of the whole um dynamic with her and Melissa.
I gave it to Zach because he's the leader of the friend group and he danced down Bulk.
He did dance down Bulk, and that was so fucking cool.
And
Like,
then number one, we all knew that it was going to be number one, is Green with Evil.
I said,
Yeah, man. This episode.
uh.
This is the, I think maybe not the one episode, but one of few episodes that was not blind at all for you. You've seen this one.
I've seen all of this many times over.
Yeah,
I
you've seen
I
this one a
love
lot.
Green with Evil. This will
Uh,
stay number one. I don't care.
mm, mm,
No, you
well,
can't.
well, well, I'm trying to think. There are two episodes that I think rival it in this season. If for some reason in my head we were ranking all of Mighty Morphin together, we're not. We're doing it by season. And I know there's an episode in season 2 that I like more than Green with Evil that has to do with Tommy. But as far as this season goes, there's two episodes that rival it, but I don't know if they'll beat it, and we'll get there when we get there.
It's going to be very hard to beat Green with Evil. You know I
And
love me
the
some
episodes that
Rangers.
rival it are both about Tommy, by the way. So like, yeah, they're very similar theming.
You know how I am with Evil Rangers.
You do like an evil ranger.
I do. That's my favorite trope. Now we
Yeah,
have
Green with Evil is like the reason why Power Rangers is so successful. Like it was successful before that, but like Green with Evil was like a whole new world. Like it exploded. Everybody loved Tommy. Everybody loved the Green Ranger. He was so awesome, which is why they wanted to keep him around. But the footage got rid of him so quick, and then they had to do America's favorite game show. Why can't Tommy morph today? Um,
yeah, like he
but
was meant to like stop being a part of the show, but the fans loved him so much,
yeah,
so he had to
they
come.
just loved him too much, and they had to. Brad Hawkins got screwed out of being a Power Rangers twice, and then the first time was when Tommy came back. Brad Hawkins, who is the guy who plays the main character of VR Troopers, because that was I don't know if you know this. This is deep Toku lore, but that show was supposed to be JDF's show. They were gonna have JDF do Cybertron, which was the beta version of VR Troopers, and then the White Ranger was gonna be played by the guy who ended up leading VR Troopers. But then everybody liked Tommy so much, so they were like, okay, why don't we have this new guy do the other show, and then we'll just bring back Tommy as the White Ranger.
Yeah, which
And then
honestly,
and then also they were gonna make the actual character from VR Troopers, Ryan Steele, the Gold Ranger. And that was gonna be the secret identity of the Gold Ranger. And then they just didn't for some reason, and it became Trey of Triforia.
this random ass guy that we've never met until his
Because
introduction.
he is voiced by the same guy for the first couple appearances of the Gold Ranger. He's voiced by Brad Hawkins, and then
Oh my
suddenly
god.
it's not. And then suddenly it's not Brad Hawkins, and it's Trey.
I just saw a post that shows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 actors, including Brad Hawkins, who were supposed to be um like Power Rangers, but their casting was replaced by someone else.
Interesting. I only really know two. I know Audrey Du Bois or whatever her name is. She was supposed to be Trini. She was Trini in the pilot. And then there's Brad
Okay.
Hawkins, who was supposed to be the White Ranger and the Gold Ranger, and got pushed off both times.
Do you want to know the other
Sure, let's hear
ones?
him. Let's hear him.
So Cassie was not originally meant to be played by who ended up
Oh,
playing
it's
her.
isn't it Lieutenant Stone's nephew or not nephew? Fucking niece was supposed to be the Pink Ranger.
I'm not sure, but it's got like question marks instead of a name, so there's no name or a face. It just says question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, etc. Cassie. Uh,
That's
Izzy,
I think they might be misinterpreting that actually, because I what I've heard is Cassie is who she is. That's Cassie. But before there was Cassie, because if you'll recall, you probably don't recall because you haven't seen the Zordon era, so let me enlighten you. In Turbo, Carlos and Ashley get introduced a little early, like a couple episodes before they become Power Rangers. TJ and Cassie get introduced in that episode. So they don't get an early introduction like Carlos and Ashley do. So I think my guess is the initial plan, because only JDF and Kathleen Sutherland wanted to quit. So my guess is that Carlos was either going to be red or he was going to be green, and Adam was going to be red, and Ashley was going to be pink. And then for whatever reason they decided it would just be more convenient if we just fired Nakia Bariste and Johnny Young Bosch and just did all new Power Rangers. So we're gonna put Carlos and Ashley in those slots, and now we got to get a new red and pink. And they introduced this character who was Lieutenant Stone's niece, who was kind of like important in her episode and felt like she was supposed to be more. And I'm pretty sure she was supposed to be the Pink Ranger.
Oh, I see. Well, the rest of these all have names, and one of these I knew about. You had Izzy was actually supposed to be played by someone called Alexandra Nunez. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right.
You see, the funny thing is, I bet not one of these actors is going to be a recognizable name.
That's probably true. Maya was supposed to be played by Erin Sims.
Erin Sims.
Lost Galaxy Cassie, Patricia Jarlee. Isn't that just Cassie?
Yes, Kendrick was originally going to get replaced with Cassie instead of Corone. And then they wanted to not put Patricia Jolie in the theme song and pay her less, so she didn't want to do it anymore. So they pivoted to Corone.
She's on there on this list. Then Danny was recast. He was initially going to be played by Chili De Castro.
Billy DeCastro?
Chili De Castro.
Chili DeCastro.
Or Chile, I don't know. Chille. I don't know how to say that. But this one I only know about because I saw a video. Chance Simpson was supposed to play Calvin in Ninja Steel. The only reason I knew about this was because I saw a video of the Dino Charge cast announcing the Ninja Steel cast because I wanted to see how the actor for Coda, name escapes me, Sadaso Yoshi. I wanted to see how Yoshi and Sadaso would react to seeing Peter Sadaso being cast as the Blue Ranger. But as I watched that, I saw that Calvin was not Calvin at all. That he looked very different. So I looked it up, and yeah, this guy called Chance Simpson was originally meant to play him, but something happened, and they introduced the new guy.
So let's talk about Chili DeCastro for a second, because I found an interesting Reddit post about Chili DeCastro, and I would like to regale you with it.
Oh dear boy.
So this is just a post. It's for a Reddit for something called Knowledge Fight, which maybe is a show. I don't know. I don't know what it is. It might be a political thing, because they are complaining about Chile de Castro in that context a little bit. I'm just going to read the post. I've been enjoying diving into a different sort of right-wing character as of late. He's a, quote, constitutional law scholar named Chile de Castro, or Delete Laws with a Z, whose claim to fame is running up to traffic stops with his camera rolling and berating the cops on scene, then using the infamy to sell his indestructible 5A trifold. If you've never heard of him, he was supposed to be the Black Ranger on a Power Rangers show and got fired before filming an episode. Tried to pitch a hilarious product on Shark Tank that was rejected with disdain and is currently serving an 180-day sentence in a Nevada jail for his antics. Called the bailiff at his trial a pig and acted like a pissy egomaniac throughout the whole thing. He feels
Oh,
like a knowledge character for sure. I don't know what that last part means, but the rest of the foot quote, very interesting stuff about Chile de Castro.
bloody hell! This guy was a okay. Makes sense why they recast Danny.
Yeah, I guess he was an asshole back in 2002 too, because they fired him before he even filmed an episode.
Jesus. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do for the Mighty Morphin stuff
Is go over
is
favorite characters from Green
go
with
over favorite
Evil.
characters from Game of Evil. Yeah.
So Green
Should
with
we go?
Evil, which might be the only multi-parter in history where they all have little names. So Green with Evil Part 1, Out of Control. Who'd you give it to?
I'm pretty sure that was episode 17. Just checking. Uh, yeah, Out of Control. Obviously, I gave it to Tommy.
I also gave it to Tommy. Then there's Green with Evil Part 2, Jason's Battle.
I gave it to Jason.
I gave it to Tommy this time, again.
Oh wow.
For some, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I feel like the episode that's called Jason's Battle is not the episode that has Jason's Battle. Like it has a little bit of Jason's Battle, and then I think part 3, The Rescue, is where the most of the battle happens. Maybe I'm remembering wrong.
You might be right, actually.
Well, I think maybe Jason. I think Jason's battle might be referring to him battling the Green Ranger, but part 3 is the one where he battles Goldar, which is the more memorable battle that he has in Green with Evil.
Very good battle as well because he's like
Yes,
hiding in the smog, trying to find his morpher while avoiding Goldar stabbing the ground.
but
Which
regardless,
was
yeah,
also,
Jason, good choice. I give it to Tommy.
it was also funny because um Tommy showed up and he was like, "Dude, you're waiting too long to kill him. Just fucking move aside,
Just
let me
fucking
handle it."
kill him, or let me do it.
And then he does the exact same thing Goldar did, where he slowly raises the sword, says a few things, and then Jason escapes and he's like, "What the hell? No." Yeah, this wouldn't have happened if you'd waited. If he didn't wait, I mean.
But yeah, okay. Green with Evil Part 3, The Rescue.
I gave it to Tommy.
I actually gave it to Lunk.
The
Good old Lunk.
Lunky boy.
Then there's Green with Evil Part 4, Eclipsing Megazord.
I actually gave this to Scorpina.
That's a very fair choice. I actually gave it in his first ever, first of many, but not in this season, Skull. I gave it to Skull.
Ooh. And then the final one, I think, for the, is
Yep,
it?
Green with Evil Part 5, Breaking the Spell.
I gave it to Tommy.
I also gave it to Tommy. We gave it to not Tommy in the same 2 episodes, but in a different way. Oh no, not quite, because you did it in
No,
Part 2.
because part two I had Jason, you had Tommy.
Anyway, I keep thinking relationships exist. They don't. It's the fun thing that I'm doing. So yeah, there you go. That's Mighty Morphin Season 1. And let's talk about these episodes that we have listed that we think we might want to move. You've been writing down the rankings, right? So you have the list in front of you.
I do have the list in front of me.
So you were the one who was kind of gunning for I guy. Where are you thinking that moves to, if it does move?
Hmm. You see, it's interesting for me because I'm like, okay, I think it's better than Day of the Dumpster, but I don't think it's better than some of the things above Day of the Dumpster.
You
I
mean
mean,
some of the
below.
things below Day of the Dumpster?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's like it's not better than High Five or Itsy Bitsy Spider or Who the Ball Times of Pressing
Should we just
Engagement.
start the whole list from scratch and like talk it through real quick?
It depends how much time I want to spend on my Morphin because there's still Cosmic Fury to go.
Well, Cosmic Fury is only going to take us like 20 minutes. It's like 3 episodes.
True.
Let's just a lot of it is going to be just the same. Like we'll fill in some blanks that make sense. Like obviously Green with Evil is going to be number 1. Like we know
Agreed.
that. We know where a lot of this stuff is going to go. Let's just take it from the top.
Okay, well, I'm gonna so Green with Evil number
I
one.
think number 23 is still Teamwork. I think we're in agreement that that's the worst episode so far.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so what's I do
What do you
agree with Different Drum being second because it was just so good.
Yeah, okay. Well, we gotta go from bottom to top here. So
Oh,
number
fine.
22.
122.
What do you think is the next worst? Because it seems like you don't think it's I Guy. Is it Big Sisters?
I do think it's Big Sisters.
Okay.
Like, yeah, the teamwork with Trini and Kim was cool, but Maria just knocked it down a few pegs for me.
That's fair. Then 21. For Whom the Bell Trolls?
Oh,
Or are we just gonna move I Guy up one spot? Because I don't think I Guy is better than For Whom the Bell Trolls. I think it's better than Big Sisters, thinking back, but I don't think it's better than For Whom the Bell Trolls.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say I Guy.
Yeah, number 21, I Guy. Number 20, For Whom the Bell Trolls.
Which until now I thought was And For Whom the Bell Tolls, but now looking back, it makes so much more sense that it's Trolls.
Yeah.
In number
Number
19,
19, Oppressing Engagement. Still appropriate, you think?
pressing engagement always spider. Yeah, yeah, that works for me.
And then number
Good.
18, I think Itsy Bitsy Spider deserves to move up a little bit. So I don't think Itsy Bitsy Spider is number 18. Which next would be High Five, which I think makes sense as number 18.
Yeah. Are we saying that Itsy Bitsy Spider is better than Dale the Dumpster, or is Dale the Dumpster still better than Itsy Bitsy Spider?
Um, hmm. I mean, Itsy Bitsy Spider had Tommy in it, so there's that going for it, which is nice.
It's good because it had Tommy.
It is good because it had Tommy. It's true, not just because it had Tommy, but that is a good aspect. And they both like key you into like little details about like certain main characters and their relationships, and I think they're kind of similar episodes almost in those aspects.
Yeah,
I think Day of the Dumpster loses. I think 17 is Day of the Dumpster.
so Dale the Dumpster, and then
Number
Itsy Bitsy.
16, I might even think Itsy Bitsy Spider is better than Dark Warrior.
Wow.
So I think
I mean,
16 is Dark Warrior.
it is a good episode.
And 15, you see these next four episodes, I feel like should be higher. But then again, these episodes at the top are really good. So like it's hard.
Yeah,
Because I don't think Itsy Bitsy Spider is better than No Clowning Around. So 15 is gonna be Itsy Bitsy Spider.
yeah. No cloning around.
No
Bit
Clowning Around
flower.
at 14, I think. I think that's fine. I think that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. That does make sense.
Number 13,
Sorry.
still the Spitflower, maybe. Okay.
Now this
Here's
one,
I think these next three need to be reordered a little bit. Okay, here's my pitch. Number 11, Gung Ho. Number 12, the Spitflower. Number 13, the Trouble with Shell Shock. That's what I'm thinking.
wait, hold on. I think there's. Did I mess my list up?
Maybe a
23,
little.
22, 21, 20, 19, 18,
Because
17, 16.
it should be right now 11 Trouble with Shell Shock, 12 Gung Ho, 13 Spitflower. That was the previous ranking.
I'm making a whole new separate list so I can just delete the last list and then. But there's only one gap between Gong Ho and Spitflower.
Well, yeah, and then there's Trouble with Shell Shock. Is above both of them, and I think Gung Ho and
Uh,
Spitflower should be above the Trouble with Shell Shock. Is what I'm saying.
why? Oh, you think it should be above them both. So Shell Shock is number 10.
No, no, Shell Shock is 13. In what I'm pitching, Shell Shock is 13. Spitflower is 12. Gung Ho is 11. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm pitching here.
So Shell, so the trouble with Shell Shock 13. Number 12 is Spitflower.
Spitflower and 11 Gung Ho.
11 Gong Ho. Okay, so now we're in the top 10.
Which number 10? Peace, Love, and Woe. I like Madame Woe a lot. It's a cool monster. It's a cool episode. But The next is Wheel of Misfortune, and I don't think this is as good as that for the human element of Wheel of Misfortune.
Yeah,
So I think number 10 is Peace, Love, and Love still.
that makes sense. Is Wheel of Misfortune better than Food Fight? Is the question.
No, I don't think so, and I think we might even want to move up Food Fight. So number 9 is definitely Wheel of Misfortune. Although, wait a minute, I'm cooking. I'm cooking a tad. I think maybe number 9 is Foul Play in the Sky. Number 8 is Wheel of Misfortune, and number 7 is Food Fight.
I'll play in the sky. Wheel of Misfortune.
Like I like the Kimberly Lands of Plane. It's still top 10, but I think
Yeah.
Food Fight and Wheel of Misfortune are both better. So
Yeah, I can agree
8
on that.
Wheel of Misfortune, 7 Food Fight. Although wait a minute, let me think about this for a minute, because Food Fight is a really iconic one, but I think these other 6 might be better. I might like Food Fight a little more than the Halloween episode. I don't know if you would agree with that or not.
Honestly, I would, because I just love how goofy the pig is.
Okay, and I think from there, I think the top 5 all beat Food Fight fair and square. So I think number 7 is Life's a Masquerade. Number 6 is Food Fight.
And then there's Happy Birthday, Zach, Switching Places, Power Ranger Punks, different drum.
Which I think might be correctly ordered. Let me take another look. Just to think. Yeah, these are correctly ordered, I would say.
So keep them the same.
Is Food Fight a little better than Happy Birthday, Zach? Because all the emotional scarring that happens.
Like this, like Happy Birthday, Zach is a bit more of an emotional episode, and Food Fight is a bit more of just a fun, lightful episode. So it
Yeah,
just
so maybe
depends
Happy
on.
Birthday, Zach deserves it a little more. Then it's trying to be a little more of a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's the same from here. Number 5, Happy Birthday, Zach.
Okay.
Number 4, Switching Places.
NPR
Number
season.
3, Power Ranger Punks. 2, Different Drum. And 1, Green with Evil 5-parter.
So that's. I think that's it for the Mighty
Yeah,
Morphin
I
section.
think we've done all there is to do for Mighty Morphin Season 1. Give me just a moment to delete me and Crow's list before I forget, so I don't mix them up and delete the wrong one later. There we go. And then I'll... What the fuck? I think I broke this Google Doc a little bit.
Oh no.
There we go. And I'll delete the games in the list of shifts later so I can clean the document up. But right now, I open a different document, and that's the Cosmic Fury document. We watched 3 episodes of Cosmic Fury as well. We will be resuming our Cosmic Fury coverage, of course. Even though it's not new anymore, it would feel weird to stop since we've already started.
Yep. So let me just.
So, Nightster caught up on he's already seen the whole show. So same idea as Crow, where I'm blind and he's not. But Nightster actually likes Cosmic Fury. So get ready for a much more fun vibe going
I
forward
do.
on the
I
Cosmic
do
Fury
like
episodes.
Cosmic Fury. I do like it.
So yeah, so no more deep seated hatred for Cosmic Fury going on this podcast. So we talked about the first 3 episodes, and we ranked them in order. Like, episode 1 is the best, episode 2 is number 2, episode 3 is number 3. Would you agree with that, or do you feel differently?
I don't. I give me just a second to remind myself of what actually happened in the episodes. I know episode 1 was like, oh, the Benefier Rangers are fighting alongside like Billy and all that, and Ollie gets taken, and Harvey loses his arm.
It's
Uh,
really metal that a guy loses his fucking arm in Power Rangers.
yeah, and I'll talk about that a bit more later.
Well, we
Episode,
already got to the episode where it happened, so you can talk a little bit about it now.
yeah, well,
He's got his robot arm already in what we've watched.
I was saying like, um, that's part of the reason why he was my top pick for episode 2,
Oh yeah, that's
episode
true.
1 even.
It was episode 1. Episode 2 you gave to Zed.
Yeah, I gave it to Harvey for episode 1 because of the fact that he sacrificed. He took a big risk to unlock the cosmic powers,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
in doing so, he got his arm just blown off, which was very unexpected for this show.
Yeah, Cosmic Fury. I think my main thought on Cosmic Fury so far, and the reason why we're handling it a little differently than we plan to handle other seasons, is because it's so dense. Like this show wanted to be 20 episodes so bad, like because it should have been. I assumed immediately when they were like Cosmic Fury is 10 episodes. I was like, "Oh, okay. So they're going to do what all the like cool teen superhero shows are doing now and there's going to be 40-minute episodes." And no, it's just 10 20-minute episodes.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a case of, okay, are they giving us 10 episodes now, and then
And then 10 episodes
10,
later, like a
10 more
Cosmic Fury
episodes?
season
Yeah.
2.
Yeah, but it didn't even do that.
No, which is weird. It's the shortest season in the franchise with a bullet, unless you count Alien Rangers as its own season, which I don't.
Like, I hate how short it is, but it was so good for being so short.
It seems like it's good so far. We'll see how I feel about it because I kept it blind. I almost gave up on this show and thought it was never coming back and watched the rest of Cosmic Fury. But I did not pull the trigger, and now we're back. So you still get my blind thoughts on Cosmic Fury. It's going to be the only season I ever cover on this show blind. You get one. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I've seen it all, so I get to know what happens before you do.
Yep. I know like the other two Power Rangers we see, and I know like a couple little details about like what's going on with Zato, but other than that I'm unspoiled.
There's only one other ranger that we haven't seen yet.
Well, I mean,
Um,
there's one Cosmic Fury Ranger, and then there's another Insulary Power Ranger.
is there another Cosmic Fury Ranger?
Fern. He
Oh
hasn't
yeah.
morphed yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I guess and Zato, but like he was also in the first one.
Yeah, because I could have sworn that she morphed when everyone else morphed, but then I remembered that the two other orbs were meant for Zato and Ollie. That's what Solon said.
I think Zato gets a cool special new orb that's different from what they already have. And then Fern gets one.
I think she gets. I'm the one that was meant for Zato.
It's gonna be
But
real
yeah,
weird when Zato's just like back for the whole rest of the show mostly.
yeah.
Because his absence is like really felt right now, both in like a narrative way and that it's like bad for the characters, but also for that he's my least favorite of that cast. And it's like without him it's kind of nice. I don't dislike Zato, but like dynamics can get a little crowded, and I think their dynamic without Zato works. So it's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
little weird to have Zato back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it it's gonna feel weird indeed. Yeah.
Although regardless, we talked about these first 3 episodes of Cosmic Fury. I don't know if you've had time to look them up. Do you think
I did look
the
them up.
ranking of just episode 1 is
Yeah.
good, episode 2 is number 2, episode 3 is number 3? You think that works?
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay,
What's
so we'll
uh,
just talk about them in order then. Lightning
yeah.
Strikes.
Lightning Strikes. Good
Solid
episode.
solid pilot, I would say.
I did like that little hint back to Ollie and Amelia being a couple, which kind of um in that one line where they were fighting against the aliens, and then Ollie saw Billy. And he was like, "Oh my god, that's Mighty Morphin Blue! Like, careful, you might make your girlfriend jealous."
That's pretty good. I did like that. A lot of fun little character interactions. A lot of like a lot of if not us then who in general in Cosmic Fury, and that's like my favorite value of Power Rangers. And this feels like a very much if not us then who season so far,
Mm.
and I'm liking it.
Yes, a very good um, mindset for them to have, because like someone's got to do it, and they're the most well equipped.
But
Even
yeah,
if
this is a solid first episode. I think the best episode of Cosmic Fury so far out of these three. I gave my favorite character to Squillia, who I adore. Co-royalty fucking hated her. I'm so glad. How do you feel about Squillia?
I like her a lot, she's so
Thank
fun.
God. Squillia's great when you don't have a bitch in your ear telling you she sucks.
She's so funny.
Yeah, I love Squillia. I gave her my favorite character nod for Lightning Strikes.
As mentioned, I gave it to Harvey because of what happened with his arm.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking metal.
Rip the arm.
Rip arm. And then there's Beyond Repair.
Where he has to actually deal with the arm being gone.
Yeah,
Episode
I think
one.
there's I think there's some good, like Javi sulking. This is where Billy kind of gets to come into his own as a mentor with like, kind of helping Javi through it, which is why in this episode I did give favorite character to Billy.
I did not. I
You
gave
gave it
favorite
to
character.
Zed.
I gave it to Zed because it was just so cool, seeing him, and he
He,
was so like he brushed away Squillia.
it just sucks that Robert Axelrod is dead, Like he's
Yeah,
doing it this guy's doing his best, but like it really sucks that we don't have Robert Axelrod.
it's a very good impression.
It's fairly good. I think he was definitely. So here's the thing: there was an actor in Dino Fury who got like bullied off of the show, and he got replaced in Cosmic Fury. I think he's the best Zed has been since Robert Axelrod, but only the second time he did it. My ranking of Zed voices is obviously Robert Axelrod is the top. The Dino Fury actor's second pass is number two. The Cosmic Fury actor is number three, and the Dino Fury's actor first pass is the 1,000th worse, even though the other 900 whatever don't exist yet. He did real bad that first time, and that's probably where a lot of the bullying came from. But I really liked him the second time, and I'm sad that he got bullied off the show. But the Cosmic Fury guy does a good enough job.
Yeah, he does. I like him, as Zed. Episode 3, Ranger
Off grid.
Off Grid. Even I was looking at a thumbnail of something else, and it was a freaking podcast reviewing it, and I accidentally said the channel's name.
That's pretty funny. This episode, I'm surprised about your favorite character in this one because you are the evil Power Ranger guy, and I think Ollie just like chews the scenery as evil man Ollie in this episode, and it's great. I
Yeah,
gave I gave my favorite character to Ollie on this one.
there's a reason that I haven't given it to Ollie in this episode, which you will find out very soon. But I don't
Oh,
want to.
because there's another episode where he's even cooler, maybe.
I'm not going to spoil anything, but you'll understand when it happens. I gave
Understandable.
I gave this one to Billy because he just made new powers. He was off doing cool stuff.
What's funny is, so I said Zeta was my least favorite Ranger. The second least favorite is Ollie. And it's a best of both worlds situation where, first of all, Ollie doesn't have to be on the team anymore, which makes gives it a higher ratio of better Power Rangers. And second of all, he gets to be a villain, and he's really good as a villain, better than as a hero, I think, personally. So it works.
I think like this isn't me digging on the actor, but I think with his range and his tones, he's he kind of radiates this jerk,
Yeah, I was
evil,
about
and
to say he's kind of just a jerk all the time.
so like he's a perfect fit for a villain, and it works. It really works.
Yeah, so the show's better with Zato being dead and Ollie being a villain, and I know both of those things get reversed at some point. So, although
Yeah,
maybe one of them gets unreversed, but we'll talk about that when we get there.
we will.
But regardless, yeah. What even happens in Off Grid, by the way, besides Ollie being evil?
In Off Grid, you had oh, they were stranded on that planet, and
Oh
um,
yeah, with the soup
Ion
and shit. The
Ion had the
soup
suit.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember this whole episode now.
I think Ion would have been another reasonable pick.
Yeah, Ion's cool. I feel like Ion is the kind of character who's like consistently my second favorite. Like he's never the highlight of the episode, but he's always like, I like that you're here, Ion. Shout out to Ion.
That's fine. For me, he's the coda of Cosmic Fury. He's
Kind
not my
of. I used to not like Ion that much, but I'm starting to like come around on him when I think about him. I haven't
like
rewatched Dino Fury or Cosmic Fury at all, but I'm just thinking on it. I'm like, Ion's like cool. I didn't give him enough credit.
yeah. Okay, so here's one question I have for you about Cosmic Fury,
Sure.
which I feel like there's varying opinions on this. What's your thoughts, and now that you've actually seen them in episode form, on the Ranger suits that they've made,
I
the
think
new one?
the muscle padding is a mistake, but not as egregious as people make it out to be. Like I'm not upset that it's there. It's just like, I feel like the suits would look better if they didn't do that part. But I think for the most part, beyond the muscle padding, they're pretty cool suits.
Yeah, I do
And
like them,
and
but
Ollie's suit might be like the best suit to ever be in Power Rangers. I'm gonna be real with you, dog. His evil suit, man, it's pretty cool.
even though we haven't seen it on screen yet, but obviously we
No,
know
yeah,
what
yeah,
it
we
looks like.
did. He morphs into that suit in episode 3.
Does he?
I think so.
I don't think he did.
I
He
could
was
have
just given.
sworn.
He was just given the power.
I feel like maybe he morphs when he's given the power to just be like, look at me now. Here I am.
Look at. Let me find it because I'm fairly certain that does not happen. Right, it's not on. It's probably on YouTube, but I watched it on Netflix, so I'm just gonna go to Netflix.
It's not on YouTube. It's only on Netflix.
Luckily, I have Netflix.
I think I think Megaforce is the last season they put on YouTube. I don't think they put it Ninja Steel up even. Not Megaforce, Dino Charge. But I don't think they put Ninja Steel up or anything past Ninja Steel. Beast Morphers is on YouTube, but it's not official. I don't know why they're not taking it down, but it's there. Some guy just uploaded all the Beast Morphers.
Hmm. Wait.
Am I right, actually, as it turns out?
I'm trying to see if this is the right clip.
Was I based incorrect the entire time, perhaps, is what happened here?
I don't know because I'm trying to figure out if this is the right scene, but it's kind of hard to hear. I'm looking at the wrong episode. I'm skipping ahead.
You goofball.
It's because I pressed next episode and I skipped over. Okay, here we go. I was like, I don't remember this conversation. Okay, so Scrozzle gives him the power.
Fucking Scrozzle, huh? He's just like. Why did they decide Scrozzle was just like the guy? And now we're
He
gonna have
does
Scrozzle all the time.
he does not morph in that scene.
Okay, I guess I'm
As
just stupid then.
Scrozzle opens the box and Ollie's like, wait until my friends see this. And then Scrozzle closes it.
But for real, Scrozzle, why?
I like
Why is
Scrozzle.
Scrozzle?
I like him.
Sure, he's fine, but like, why is he in 3 entire shows?
I don't know.
They just decided, okay, we're changing the status quo like we do every season, but we really like this Scrozzle guy, so now he's just hanging out with the new villain, and then Beast Morphers is done, and it's like, okay, we're changing the status quo again, but everybody still loves Scrozzle. We gotta have that Scrozzle. Well, I
You
guess he's not
gotta,
in Dino Fury, but he's in Cosmic Fury.
you gotta have him
Gotta have a Scrozzle.
every time.
Is he in Dino Fury? No. He's not in Dino Fury. He's in Cosmic
No,
Fury.
he's in Cosmic Fury and he was in Beast Morphers. Yeah, so
But yeah, that's
I'm not sure what
Cosmic
else we
Fury,
can say.
baby.
That both seasons caught up.
And a funny quirk is going to be that our Power Ranger ranking is going to start with the Cosmic Fury ones, because we're definitely going to finish Cosmic Fury before season 1. So that's going to be funny.
Oh yeah, it is.
So let me
Are we?
see. I think I know what we're doing next, but I want to make sure, because we alternate week to week. Yep, the last one we did was Cosmic Fury. So that means next time is the Island of Illusion. Ooh.
Ooh. And then I wonder what season we're doing after Cosmic Fury.
We're not. Let me explain. So we only did Cosmic Fury because I thought it would get us views because it had just come out. So it was a fun aside. So in theory, the the idea is Power Rangers is kind of in a we don't know what's going to happen state right now. But hypothetically, if they put
Oh,
out a new Power Rangers, we would start doing that and do bi-weekly. But until such an event occurs, we just go chronologically.
okay, that makes sense.
So if a new Power Rangers drops, then we would start covering that bi-weekly with wherever we'll be at that point. But until then,
Unlikely,
we're
but
just going in
okay.
chronological.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Because Cosmic Fury was new when we were doing this show before, but then we missed the entire calendar year of 2024, so now it's not so new.
Yep. Which,
But we already started it, so we got to finish what we start.
yeah.
So we'll see you next time for Island of Illusion. Very
We'll
exciting stuff. Nightster, where can our listeners find you?
Uh, you can find me on my solo channel, Nightster, and on the Toku-based channel that I do sometimes with Riely, sometimes on my own, or with others, depending on who's available. Toku Thrill.
Someday there might be videos on there.
There are videos on there, but
Well, there might be more videos on there than there has been for the past 7 months.
I need to find the files on my computer and drag them over to the laptop.
I know. It happens. Things happen, but we gotta put some stuff on that channel, folks. You can find me at linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe. That's Riely Cinematic Universe. I do all sorts of podcasts and YouTube channels and all sorts of things you might want to watch with your eye holes or listen to with your ear holes. It's a good time. You can find that linktr.ee/Riely Cinematic Universe, as I said. And I do want to particularly shout out my 2 live shows that I do. I do a live podcast. Thursday is kind of the day of Riely, because that's the day of both of my live podcasts now. That's how scheduling works out. So first of all, at noon on Thursday, noon Eastern time, you can go to the Demi Gloom YouTube channel and check out the Trans Fat Experience, where me and Demi Gloom hang out and talk about whatever and do silly bits and have a good time. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern, you can catch the Death Stream, where me and my buddy Brad the Bad 101, we talk about some politics and some current events and have a good time. We had Nightster on so he could explain British politics to us. And the most interesting piece of information he had for us is that a lot of British people don't know anything about what's going on with politics.
We just don't care.
which is pretty funny. I liked your appearance on the Death Stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, many more. So, folks, the time has come to say goodbye. I was kind of scared. I was like, I kind of like that me and Crow Royalty are such huge nerds that every episode is like 3 hours, and I wasn't sure what they were gonna clock with me and you. I don't know why I was ever worried. I know you're as big a nerd, if not bigger, than Crow. But this episode was about 3 hours long, and and that eases my concerns.
Yeah, I could talk about freaking Power Rangers or Sentai for hours on end with no problem.
For
I could do it
sure.
all day.
But folks, we'll see you next week for Island of Illusion. Until next time, we're morphing out of here. It's morphin'
Fucking
time.
time. There we
That was close
go.
enough. I'll take it. We did it.